Hello, welcome to McBoss Capital channel. My name is Michael Chu. You can reach me at this support email right here. Today is June 15, 2024, and we're going to look at how to trade the top 50 stocks that I'm looking at. All materials shown here are for informational purpose only. These are not investment recommendations. So here's the list of my stocks in the top 50. For those who are new, I select them based on like a strong fundamental earnings growth going forward, usually at least 15%. And then what happens here is I sort them based on price performance, based on their recent lows, and since April 9. This is based on April 9. So it's been more than a couple months now because June 15, and the leadership are pretty clear who they are. And the question is, are we in a market that where this leadership will start to fall and have maybe possibly top? And so that's a strong signal of the current leadership as well as the market conditions. So if you haven't watched the market cap recap video this week, please feel free to follow that. But in general, the market conditions in terms of breadth have really narrowed, and so the leadership is getting more narrower, meaning less and less leaders are holding up the market or carrying the market to new highs. So generally, this is not a good sign for the market, because as the leadership start to fall, then there's really nothing else to hold the market, right? So anyhow, but I'm here to talk about the top 50 I'm watching. So just to, by going through most of this top 50, hopefully we'll get a better sense of where the leadership is still, going towards new high, or they're still holding, or they're still, maybe they have fallen. And one of the ways I look at that is by looking at the recent date where they will have the highest, price. Because the further away they're like, they have top, that means that the chance of them actually have fallen is very high. But as you can see here, I'm just going to scroll through this list really quick for now. In the top 50, you can see the top leadership are still in blue, meaning they're still in an uptrend. They're still near new highs or even at high by Friday yesterday. And then you have the red ones that have kind of pulled back, or even in the more significant, like, longer term kind of, downtrend. So these are the top 50. As you scroll down towards the 50, you can see even those ones have performed well since April 9th. NSC here is at 33%, Pinterest here is at 33%, and so forth. So the color coding again is just like I didn't go through every stock in here. Most of them I don't own anymore, but I'm here to assess and analyze whether this leadership are still whether they're still moving in an uptrend, whether they're holding where they're at, or whether they're falling, right? So again, just for those who hasn't been following me, who are new, I have sold most of my positions. I'm waiting for the next opportunity, the next fat pitch, I call it. Just have a much higher reward risk ratio, whereas right now I feel like the risk reward ratio is not very good, meaning you're risking your money for very low return, just because we are very late into this rally. And so that's that. So let's jump into the ones I've highlighted here. So WGS, right here you can see the green marks are the ones where I bought, and the red marks are where I've sold. And I was late in this one, but you can see I sold here, and it hasn't really, it has bounced back quite a bit from this pullback. So I mean, right now it's hitting new high, so the uptrend is intact. Again, this is the #1 stock on my list. It has gained over 200% now. Almost 200%. So yeah. And then INSM and SM is the next one. So these are biotech. So the biotech are kind of strong actually, but they're kind of like, really hyper growth stocks when they're on the run. So you can see this one has been running quite a while now, for like a few weeks. Unfortunately, again, because due to market weakness, I have tightened a lot of my stops very recently in the last week or two, and a lot of them just got kicked out. So obviously this one right here got kicked out, but it went higher. Usually I don't sell on especially this type of trading because it's very tight, but just because I have to manage my risk in this environment, and like I say, I don't like the general market conditions, and so and because I'm late into this stock, I don't want to take a big fall for no reason. So I didn't give it much room. So anyhow, unfortunately I missed this one. It looks like it's heading higher still, so it looks good. HIMS. HIMS is very strong. It looks like I'm still holding this right now. You can see the lines here are my stops as I move higher. Again, my stops are very tight right now, like almost to the day of where the low is. For example, right here, like this was the previous day low. So I'm I could get kicked out anytime now, and that's fine with me, because again, I just feel like at this stage of the market, I feel like the conditions have deteriorated and the leadership are starting to thin out, and it's just a matter of time before most of this will start to fall. And for those who are new to like investors.com types, growth styles trading or swing trading, whatever you want to call it, or momentum trading, they build a base, they go up, and then they will form another base, right? So I don't like to sit through corrections like this. This is a 35% correction, so when it does correct, it's gonna correct quite significant, and I just don't like sitting through that, and I'm okay with missing out on some more gains if I get kicked out. Sometimes I do buy it back, but right now I have a pretty hard rule right now, not buying anything new, just because, like I said, we are 2 months into this rally. I feel like we're very close to short-term intermediate top here, which will allow the market to take a breath and start to build some bases, and then before it goes up higher. But again, this is very high on the list here. HIMS. Sorry, I have this other screen keep coming up, but that's in our screen. ASPN, ZIM, they both kind of on either pullback or downtrend mode. ARM is still doing well, so let's take a look at that. So just want to highlight, the chip sector is really strong right now. ARM, they kind of try to cross this base, traditional buy point here. To me, this is very risky right now, even though this is a buy point, traditional buy point, just because it has gone up quite significantly from this low, right? Like it pretty much come back very fast, and you're talking about like what, 85 now is 157, so almost double. Not quite, but like 80% gain from the bottom. So it's gonna need some time to digest, in my opinion, and then while the 10 days catching up. So you can see on Friday I got shaken out from this pullback here intraday, where I set my stop. So I think I probably set my stop at the low of the open, and I got shaken out. It still looks fine. Like I said, I just not sure like if I want to take those risk reward ratio at this moment. But definitely the chip sector is probably the strongest right now. And so those are the highest probability of still going higher, besides some of the biotech here that I just talked about. Let me just close this file for now, so it doesn't just keep coming up again. TERN, another biotech stock. Let's just run to that. And this one, again, I wasn't able to position nicely to catch this run. It has bounced to new high. I got shaken out very quickly, and because this is a lower price stock, it does move quite a bit, intraday and so forth. So, but it is on a nice move right now. You know, we are past around 8, you see 837, 868. We are almost at new high. So yeah, there's potential for more gains here, but I feel like I'm kind of missed that boat. So HROW, another biotech. So here's the biotech sector. Let me just expand a little bit. TWST, another biotech. This one's on the downtrend. NVIDIA, we talked about in the other video too, but I'll just bring it up here as well. It's definitely, another strong chip stock right beside ARM. But this one's at new high territory. Of course, it broke out right here, and then it has run in a very sharp 45-degree angle. Again, same thing here. I just, you're gonna see a lot of this on my charts right now. Just very tight stop, just couldn't, and I missed this on the breakout as well. So, so that's that. Anyhow, it's number 10 on the list. RNA, another biotech. CRDO, Internet Network Solutions, looks like it's still doing okay. BLBD is on the downtrend. So you can see the date here, June 12 is one of the top, just to show example. Doesn't mean it's the real top. We don't know for sure, right? It's only been a couple of sessions, but it has pulled back. And this one, you can see it pulled back to the 10-day now. It's been trading very tight, and I don't know, it feels a little bit more loose now. You can see the trading here. So I'm not sure if I'm liking that action. It looks like it can fall easily now. You can see this very loose action here. So I don't know if there's any news, but that's usually not a good sign if the action become more loose. You see how tight it is here, right here when it was on the run, and now it looking more loose. TMDX, another medical stock. ANF. ANF, obviously, you can see the top date here. The last highest date was May 29th. And just to show the chart, we had this really big update here, and since that it has pulled back significantly. You can see I sold on that day and sold some more on the next day, and then I start to get back in as a rebound here. But nothing wrong with this chart. If I take out my markups just to give it a better look, yeah, nothing wrong. You can see the 10-day is riding the 10-day right now, right? So it went up really fast here for 3 days, and then now it pulled back. And again, if you watch my previous videos, this 3 days up, 3 days down is very common on an uptrend. Just watch that. And but right now, again, my stops are very tight right now. It's almost like I don't want to be in the market, right? Like I'm trying to get out. So it does hit my stop, and it did on Friday here. Then so be it. I'm out. Like again, I'm not trying to risk too much. Yeah, and just come back to my notes. I forgot to talk about that here. Let me come and show my notes here. Yeah. So I sold most of my position. Right now I'm playing where I'm just a trader that can be out of the market, and I like to get a sense of where stocks are heading, just to be in the game. And I'm just playing with very little money, 10% of my portfolio, just to see what's going on. If things do pick up again, then yeah, I'll start to dive back in, but it doesn't look like it so far. Every time I try to get back in, it seems like it just knocked me out very fast with my tight stops. I'm in a very defensive mode right now. Again, I make quite a bit of gain from April 9, and about 2-3 weeks ago I start to unload positions, and I make good enough gains that I want to hold those gains. And so now I'm just trying to understand where's the market heading, where are the leading stocks heading. So ANF, you can see it has started to bounce back, so potential, it could go higher. Like again, it all depends on where all this leadership are going. Prime got hammered this week, and so again, you just don't know which leadership, and I say this every video. I hope if you do watch every video, you hear this saying, not all stocks top at the same time. In a rally, even before the rally, die, or even before the rally top. So right now you can see it got really rejected right here on this 200-day black line moving average. Nothing wrong with this chart, it still looks okay, but this is the second time it got rejected, which is a little bit not too good, because usually second time and then the third time they might try one more time. It's still close enough to the black line that it might try one more time, but if it failed the third time, it might be a little bit scary, so anyhow, again, very low price stock, so very easy to be volatile. VITL, I talked about this in previous video, is in the food category. It's meat products here, and you can see it has this one very volatile day, probably shaking out a lot of people. It tries to bounce back, came above all this short-term moving average, but it just have no power, right? It's just no power. Like, now it's starting to hit the lows again, like around this area, which is not good, because and this is what I'm focusing on right now. Like, how many of these stocks have hit a top recently, and how far is it from that top? And you can see this was June 6th was the top, and now it's been like June 15, so 14 or whatever. So it's been quite over a week now. Like, it couldn't come back to the previous high, right? And that's how what you call a downtrend is formed. So if I draw a downtrend line, this is the top, this is the top. Now I draw this downtrend line. You can see how heavy that slope is. So we are coming back now at a 45-degree angle slope. So you gotta watch out for that. All right, next stock, AudioEye. So this is another fallen leader, right? Again, this is why I'm very defensive right now. Not all stocks top at the same time, but they eventually all do when the market deteriorates. So here's all the highs here. I draw this trend line. You can see another very steep slope of where this downtrend is heading. Right now it's a little bit further away from this downtrend. So usually they like to come back and then fall, come back and then fall. It's no different than an uptrend, right? You draw the lows right here, it touches this line and goes back. It touches this line, goes back, touches this line, goes back, right? So that's how an uptrend is formed until it breaks that uptrend line, and now we're on a downtrend line, and that downtrend line becomes the resistance. And that's how stocks top and bottom, right? So those are the patterns for like momentum stocks like this, and we just have to follow that. Where First Solar also now starting to look like it's pulling back. CAMT, very good stock that I like, is starting to deteriorate, so that's another thing. Like, in this stock you see very clearly, like, it's nothing bad right now. It's still on the 10-day, riding 10-day. Again, I have very tight stop. It's almost like an offensive selling strategy for me right now. It's like I've just put the stops so tight. And if it does break it, I'm just out, right? Rather than just selling it on that day. Because sometimes what happens is that you can see here, like, the same thing with this guy. Like, it runs 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, right? So because I'm so defensive right now, I don't know how many days it's going to go up. It could run for 10 days straight if it does, right? Again, and that's how most stocks top, is they just run for 10 days straight. Or they run for the normal 3 days up, 3 days down, 3 days up, 3 days down on average, right? So I don't know, but I'm just, I just really want to take my profit, even for the ones that I'm still holding, very little left. And then for the ones that I, trade recently, I just not giving a lot of room for it to make any mistakes. Because the problem is when stocks fall, sometimes when they top, they fall really hard, and I talk about this with SMCI and many other previous leaders. When they top, they can fall really hard. So just be careful with that. Yeah. So we then have THC, and this looks normal. This is the relative strength here. CAVA, still okay. Snap, Cyrus, that's another chip stock. NVMI, I believe I'm still holding this, and it's acting okay. Again, all the chip stocks are acting really good right now. Yeah, you can see my entry point was around here, and it's been holding since here. Again, you can see the red line is where my stop is, very tight. Like, I'm not giving it any room for big failures. Like, I'm just ready to take profits, even though it's not that much for some of these stocks. but you know, that's the way I'm trading right now. AGIO, so this one in the biotech, this one looks like it have kind of start to pull back. FN, MNTK, you know, this one also start to pull back. AVAV, CHWY, you know, yeah, let's look at CHWY, because you know, I thought this one was doing great, and then now all of a sudden it's pulling back as well. So you can see, you know, this was the high right here, and look at now, it's been 7 sessions. This is what I was expecting for most of these stocks. I expect, you know, this stock to go up, pull back, and go high. What's happening right now? It did not make a high. Instead, it's now trading near the low of this range. That's not the pattern I'm looking for, right? And so, you know, again, this is not good, right? We have Form, BIRK, VECO. So those are still acting normal, still in an uptrend. CMRE, let's look at that one. So here, where's the top date for this one? June 3rd. So let's look at the chart. Look at that. This is the top. I guess I sold right there. And you know, right now it's on a downtrend. Again, it pulled back and then it tried to bounce, but it fell, right? Because now it's at a new low. So this is now on a downtrend, right? Like, this is what a downtrend would look like. We don't know exactly how it's going to look like. It might be short term. It might only pull back to 10-day, and that was it. It might pull back to 21-day, and that's it. I have no idea how far it's going to pull back. The problem is, you know, see, this is the problem. When stocks rise a lot, they pull back to the 10-day. That's no problem. 21-day, it still doesn't look like a big, you know, drop, right? Depending on where you start buying this. But the problem is 21 and 50-day is much bigger gap. So if it does fall to 50-day, that's really, really bad. And then look at to 200-day. Now, most stocks, especially for momentum stocks, they don't usually fall back to 200-day. But if it does, I mean, you are basically losing everything you have gained, even if you bought perfectly right here on the breakout, on the original traditional buy point. Again, all these are very important when it comes to your strategy in dealing with, you know, your sell point is and so forth. Again, at the end of the day, it's risk reward. Sometimes I've learned over my career, it's much better to take profit. You know, a lot of people don't take enough profit, and you know, again, maybe their strategy is longer term, and that's fine. But if you're a swing trader, like, honestly, you know, you're not there to, you know, hold this stock because, oh, this stock is the best stock in the world. Like, I love this stock, you know, and that's more of a position trading, they call it, like, you know, holding it for more longer term. But here I'm trying to make my 20%, 30%, 40% in that momentum when it's running, and this is the run right here. Once it's over, we don't know when it's over, but here now it really clearly shows something not right, and now you're giving back your profit, and who knows how far this will go, right? So those are the kind of things that I really pay attention to. You have ELAN here, downtrend, ONON, downtrend. Again, you look at the high date, it means that it just recently pulled back, right? It's not really a long-term downtrend, so don't take that word, like, you know, completely as a big downtrend. Hood, yeah, like Hood, you know, again, this was a lot of people owning this stock, so whenever I hear lots of people owning this stock, I get worried. You know, doesn't mean it won't work. It's just, you know, have a higher chance of failure because too many people watching at the same time. So here, you know, it broke out here, and you know, I kind of bought in a little bit late, and which is fine because it was quite turbulent when it broke out. And even after it broke out, after, you know, a couple of weeks, it was still trading quite volatile. And I think the part of the reason is, again, very low price stock, they tend to be more volatile intraday. Anyhow, I guess I got shaken out here by putting a pretty tight stop there. So it's still on a very strong uptrend trajectory. It is slightly below, you know, the green line right now, which is the 10-day. So that's why here I have it as downtrend. So that's one of the rules. If it's below 10 days, it's considered a downtrend for me. ATGE, another downtrend stock. NXT, Again, look at the date on the high, how far it is from the previous high. The longer it is, generally, you know, unless they're coming back, you know, and building the right side of the you know, of the base or whatever consolidation you want to call it. So we have NXT, LTH, CLS, Qualcomm. We have CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike, again, you know, still doing pretty well. You know, it's one of the few stocks that have come back from the recent turbulence. Right here, it was really sharp fall, which I didn't like at all. But you know, sometimes it works, and this is one scenario that it works. It was a V-shaped rebound, and now, you know, it rebound and it's holding pretty tight, and it's not coming back to the 10-day, which is also impressive. So this is the 10-day right now, and it's trying not to touch it. And that's one of my, you know, really golden tip, right? Is that, you know, and whenever a stock runs up, and instead of falling back to the 10-day, it kind of just goes sideways, and it's trading really tight, meaning the range here, you can see, it's just so tight. Those are strong signs this stock is being accumulated right now. And so there's a high chance this will go higher. So yeah, just want to mention that I'm still holding this. I guess I got in here. So we'll see, you know, what can happen. Again, I don't have much room for the stock to run right now. That's the only problem, and that's why I'm kind of have a no more buying rule. Just because why trade the stocks if you're gonna put in such a tight stop, right? You're gonna get shaken out very easily. So there's no point in trading, and I don't have much like confidence right now. Yeah. So SMA is just a, you know, index if you want to trade the chip index, and which is kind of interesting how the SMH index make it to this list, because that just highlights how strong a semiconductor group is. You know, to be able to, and this is the bottom right here. You know, look at this chart, right? I mean, you don't even have to be the best stock picker. You just have to, you know, figure out, hey, that semiconductors are on a run, and you can just buy this group. So, you know, this is obviously right here. So it's still going, and right now it does look a little bit extended from the 10-day. You see the last time it extended from the 10-day was right here, and then it pulls back to the 10-day, right? So don't be surprised if it pull back to the 10-day here on this slope, just because it's quite extended. So generally, like if a stock or the market or even the group's top, what they tend to do is they will, you know, again, this is not always the case, but they tend to like go up really exponentially, like this, and then, you know, basically everybody who, and it gets really extended from this 10-day slope, and that's usually not a good sign, because if it get extended that way, then usually it'll take a more, you know, it'll come back and then it'll consolidate more and so forth, right? It'll take longer time, and that's usually when, you know, you potentially form a new base that take, you know, 4 or 5 weeks to recover. So I'm not sure if that's what it's gonna do, if it keep riding up. I hear from a friend, like Kramer is telling everyone to, you know, take some profit on the chip stock. So so that's interesting. So, you know, we'll see what's gonna happen. But I won't be surprised, like I say, if we see another 2-3 strong days of chip running, because the chips are just so strong right now. So anyhow, I think I've talked a lot about that. OLED doing okay. And then some of this, you know, Moderna, POWL, I talked about this in previous videos. They continue to fall. You can see their relative strength is still like going down. ANET, you know, ANET, it kind of, I think, you know, IBD covered it quite a bit. It broke out, and here's the base. It fell on this breakout, but it has come back again, another V shape, which is very interesting. V shape rebound, it works sometimes and it doesn't work sometimes, right? So just be careful of that. And there's really no way of telling whether the V shape will work. I've seen V-shape that come back and become so strong, that stock, right? So but at the same time, I've seen reshape, also fail. So there's no hard rule of saying which one will work or not. Again, just look at the chart. Where's the 10-day? Manage your risk. It is a little bit extended from the 10-day right now, because the one thing I like about this V pattern here is how many days it took to go down, which is a lot. You can count, like there's almost 20 sessions here. But look at how fast it came back on the right side, 4 or 5 sessions, right? And that's strength. That's accumulation. That's strength. And I like that, right? And then you look at the volume side. It's on all the red days, the volume wasn't too bad, except like this one and maybe this one, right? But generally the later ones are much lower volume, so that's where this bottom was formed. And then as it come back on the right side, you can see the volume start to rise. So especially on the breakout day. But like I said, it might. But again, sorry. So look at this day after the big gap up day. So here's the gap up. Look at the day following that. It does not want to go down. Let's go to intraday's chart. Right, so this is the gap up. It closed at pretty strong. And then the next day, it tries to come down, but guess what? It just didn't want to go down much. And so when you have such a big gain and a really follow through day that is trading so tight, this is a good sign. Again, I talk about that all the time. Whenever you see tight, range after a big day, those are hints that this stock could go a lot higher. So here's the slope, very strong slope, and this is ANET. Pinterest also doing okay. TEVA is kind of pulling back as well. Sorry, Pinterest. I think IBD talked about this on Friday as well. So this was another failed breakout, right? They try to break out here. You can see it just have no power. Came back down to the 21-day line. Really tight though. Look at how tight this is. Look at the volume right here. And then on the rebound, look at those volume. This is accumulation right here. Now, it just, and then it start trading tight. Now, again, not every time after a big update and then tight range trading, it will work. But in this case, it didn't work. It fell back. Again, back to the pink line, which is 21-day. And then it found support here. So here's the fall. But then it bounced back pretty quick. So it basically is a shakeout. That's what that is. And so whether it can, this time it will work, we'll see. But it looks good right now. Like again, sucks if you were in that shakeout. But if you weren't in that shakeout now, it looks pretty tempting because the next move might just be pretty strong. So anyhow, so that's that Pinterest. We're almost near the 50 list here. So NSSC, security stock, okay. So Taiwan Semiconductor doing well. PTGX, LNTH, MU, another semiconductor. I'm going to jump to the more recent list. So this list here is the same list, except the start date to measure performance is since May 24. So this one is slightly more recent, like about 3 weeks ago. So since 3 weeks ago, what are the performance look like from their lows, right? And this is the performance look like, and a lot of this are on that list previously. So I'm just looking at the ones here that are not on that list. So GWRE, Guidewire, we can jump to that. So the orange color means it's kind of holding, right? That's what that means. So right here you can see it jumps up pretty strong, and then now it pulls back very little, and this is expected, right? And here's the 10-day slope. So it hasn't touched the 10-day quite yet, but and Friday there's a small rebound. Doesn't mean this I don't like that rebound look in a way, because it's just too. It's good that it's tight, but I was hoping for a bigger rebound, and but anyhow, it hasn't touched the 10-day. It also didn't touch the previous day's low. Very close. I think it came really close to it. So I would have been shaken out if it cuts that low. But so we'll see how this goes. But it's holding tight, and it's basically a newer like most of these stocks here are like in the recent weeks, right? Like the last 2-3 weeks that have come up. TTC is another one. I don't follow this as much. I think anyhow, let's just show it. But yeah, again, you can see this bounce holding tight. Again, the 10-day right here, it doesn't want to touch it. This is another sign. Whenever it doesn't want to touch it and then bounce to make new high, so here, right here, you make a new intraday high, that's a good sign. That's a really strong sign. GPS, so this one, unfortunately, this one, you know, has kind of fallen back. And that's the problem, right? Like, you know, you have this sharp rise here on the right side of the base, and then it fall, and this is the problem. It's okay to fall to the 10-day, and then it start to rise, and then guess what? It has no power. Now it's making a new low. So this is now becoming a downtrend. ESTC. So the one thing, you know, you will notice in recent weeks, this is again based on the last 2-3 weeks, a lot of software enterprise has kind of rebound, which is very interesting. And so this one is in the database area, and look at this, you know, bounce, and then tight, make new high, tight. That's a really good, like if you keep doing that, right, it can climb back all the way to the traditional buy point, and then we'll see what happens. So we're gonna see quite a bit of this in this list. So this is one of them. GGRX has kind of also pulled back, unfortunately. CLBT, and this is software as well. Yeah. And then we have Shopify. So Shopify is another fallen. Again, these stocks have corrected quite a bit. You know, they didn't participate in this rally at all since April. You can see all of them are in a downtrend, and then some of them are starting to climb up the base. This is a long downtrend line. I mean, it didn't include this one, but I feel like the angle is so you know, already so flat that that I think I can discount those 2 days. But you know, we are at the 200-day line. This is a very important test right here. So I think we passed the 200-day, and it can so this is what I'm hoping, pass 200-day and then go sideways, and then doesn't come back down and make another new high. I would get in there, because sometimes you get this, right? It comes out of a trend line, and then it pull back the next day, and then it starts to fall, and this is what happened. Now, of course, this is due to earnings, but still, right? It could happen to any to this as well again. So just, you know, because the risk is not that great right now compared to reward ratio, I would be more patient if you want to take new positions. But again, I'm seeing software starting to come back up on the right side. This is not quite fully out of the woods yet, but you know, it has climbed a lot, right? So it's not quite halfway, but it's getting there. So something to watch. So that's Shopify, SLG in the property REIT also doing well. And then you have Hello, KC, and then we have some that are falling, like ACMR. So again, the story is very mixed here. Even in recent weeks, you can see some of this came up, and then now it's starting to fall back. DKS, BLBD, CRUS, in the biotech area. And then we have STX, SMART, Palantir. So Palantir looks like it's in a holding zone right now. So let's take a look at that. So that's another software. So here you can this bounce. It's kind of just holding sideways, not coming down too much. It rebounded on Friday, so that's also another good sign. So yeah. Then we have INSP, another medical. So now we're gonna see a little bit more software, like so Cloudflare Net, right? Cloudflare. So again, these names have corrected. It's like Palantir has corrected. Like this is a long correction, right? For most of this stock. Like look at how long this Cloudflare correction is, right? And then you can see here, it's starting to bounce back. So this one is still very deep. It's still very deep in terms of the correction. So completely, you see my long-term trend line right here. I would say at least, you know, wait till it comes to here, and that's again the 200-day. So notice some of these stocks are, the 200-day is starting to come to meet the price now, because yeah, so the 200-day has caught up, and so hopefully they can break out this long-term, and again, these are all big enterprise software stocks that have usually done well, but it did not participate in this rally. ADSK, they Autodesk, they report earnings this week, and they did well. I mean, they fall, but then they kind of recover. So in that sense, it's good. So that's a good sign. Again, look at how deep this correction is. All these guys have gone through big correction, and these are the bigger cap software guys. And now look at this, another thing right here. It broke the 50-day moving average trend line, which is a long-term trend line. So now again, look at this. We're coming back to 200-day. So we'll see this 200-day thing will work or not for the software group. And just to like jump to it, because I mentioned in the other video, the market recap video, the software group, you can see same thing here, right? In IGV, which is the ETF. Again, it fell right here, and right now this is the second time now it passed through this trend line, and it's holding really tight. Look at that, right? It fall back the 1 day, but it bounced back, so that's a really good thing. So yeah, so I'm more hopeful this time because it actually bounced back. So we'll see, but these are the stocks that are part of that group, and you should pay attention to if they continue to improve. Ollie in the discounts also doing okay. Duolingo, same thing. Duolingo, Duolingo, Palantir, like these are the AI stocks, right, in the software area, and they haven't done well. And now look at how long this correction is, and then this is another one, and then this is even another one. Unbelievable, like volatile, right? In terms of there's really not much, like the pattern building is just keep failing every time, and this is probably the worst one right here, because look at how many red days there is in this area. So pretty much everybody has been shaken out, all the short-term investors, and even here there's not much strength either. But the good thing is, look at the red volume days has dried up, right? So that is a very strong, Mark Minervini, for those who know him as a trader, he talks about this all the time. Whenever after about 10 sessions with no selling volume, watch for that move, because that move right there is probably your earliest buy point. So watch for that. So this is Duolingo, another software enterprise. KKR, BGNE, LRCX, another chip stock here. Lower. Now is ServiceNow, which is again another big enterprise. So the software group, right? So we have chips that have been leading this whole rally, but the software group just long consolidation. But this is since like February top. It didn't participate in the April rally. Like it kind of didn't work for most of them, and now it's starting to come back here. So this one's a little bit better because it's about 200 a day already, but it's still below the long-term trend line right here, which is not very steep at all. So again, we already fell once, right? So now we're waiting for this opportunity again, and let's see if we can hold this trend line this time. So yeah, I wouldn't jump the gun personally, just because even if it break out, let's say Monday, I wouldn't jump the gun, because like I say, I feel like the market is very extended right now on the chip side, and that could impact all technology stocks if they start to top. So yeah. And then we have ANET, where we talk about DKNG, Cyber, and then you have GM, SMCI, Clock, right? Again, some of the chip stocks, and like let's look at SMCI, because it's trying to come back right now, and depending how you draw the trend line, like, you know, this is the first one, it fell, it came up and then it fell. This is the second one, again, it came up and then it fell. This is the third one, it came up and then it kind of fell. Like even this tried twice, it fell twice. So here, fool a lot of people. This is now a much less steep, like not as steep anymore, like more flat. So let's see, right? Again, how's the volume looking like? It has come down quite a bit on the red days. So here's, you know, these 2 days right here, pretty low volume. And then Friday, what do you do on Friday? It kind of just like, let me see on the intraday for a second. So here's the bounce out of the, you know, trend line. And then it kind of bounce back and then give up the lows again. So I don't like this action. So, but you know, on the chart here, it doesn't look as bad because it's just still kind of above the 50-day red line. But yeah, again, I would give, you know, some of this, you know, the problem with SMCI is it hasn't participated in this rally like ARM, like NVIDIA, right? Those guys are, you know, rising really fast, right? But this one hasn't done that. So that's something that I feel like a little bit skeptical about. You know, why is this running right now, even if it is? So to me, it's late in the game. You know, that's why I think ARM and NVIDIA are probably and Taiwan Semiconductor, those three are my top, you know, chip stocks right now. I feel like if I were to, you know, consider any of those stocks, those are the three I'm looking at. And if this three is top, I think, like I said, I don't know. This market has been very hasn't, in the last, I'd say 6 months to, yeah, since November, we haven't seen the market top at the same time for all sectors. And so they like kind of rotate, right? Like, you know, so right now, you know, again, just because of a few stocks, I don't know for sure. But we're seeing chip stock are still going up, but we're seeing the software, which hasn't participated, now starting to rise. And a lot of them are coming to the 200-day, doesn't mean anything because the 200-day is still the most important line. They have to break through that for most of them. Let's see how that goes, right? Anyhow, thank you for watching this video. Feel free to comment and, you know, please like and subscribe. If there's any stock I didn't mention, you feel like it's very important, I'll take a look at it if you mention it. But otherwise, thank you, and please watch the market recap as well if you like.